Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics, because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. Yes. So this week, we are continuing our catch-up with the series Veronica Mars, and the accompanying podcast, Veronica Mars Investigations. Mm-hmm. But first, our other show that we are watching from 2020 Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist.
We watch contemporary shows sometimes, too.
Yes, occasionally we do. So, this episode was kind of a downer, and yeah.
But singing, so much singing.
It was a lot of singing, but I don't know. I want this show to be a comedy.
I would like it to be a half-an-hour comedy, and it wants to be an hour-long dramedy.
Yes.
And so therefore, feel free to edit out any 30 minutes that you would like.
Well, it has to be the 30 minutes where things are going wrong.
Yeah, well, it was her extraordinary failure.
Yeah.
And she coped with it, and she learned to move on.
Yeah.
But
her brother's still mad at her.
That's true. He is.
And that's rough. So.
Yeah, I guess. I've never had a brother to be mad at me, so I don't know. That would be upsetting to you?
Yeah. I mean, because they seem like they're very close.
Yeah, they do. They do.
It was a big fat fail.
Yeah, I guess. Did. But I mean, what else could she? This is she didn't really do anything wrong because his wife
grilled her,
sought her out, and asked her direct questions. Right. So her choices were to lie or try to tell a soft version of the truth, which is what she did.
Right.
And it's hard there to see how exactly she screwed up for me because she didn't go to see the wife, to talk to her. Right. She was summoned. So I think she was in a difficult position there. But her mom gets to work because her dad got up and sang energetically, more energetically than usual.
Yes, he did.
It's just, he was rocking out. So that was a happy thing.
That was, you're right.
And
Mo was happy and giving,
not singing, but
giving good advice.
Bonnie is still down in her apartment somewhere, thinking about the beach.
She was,
but not singing about it
in this episode. Sorry, Bonnie. You might have been a 1 week wonder. Don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think we can feel too sad about Max and Autumn breaking up. Neither of them seem too unhappy about it ending.
Right.
And let's see. Gosh, there were so many plots.
There was a lot happening.
It's really getting overwhelming.
Yeah, there was too much because there was the whole thing with the anonymous peer reviews, which, come on, terrible idea. Terrible idea.
Terrible idea if you're then going to tell people about them. I don't know. They might have been interesting for management consideration without having to share them. But I have never liked Leaf more than when he was moping around.
In the pod.
Yeah, I think we should have just left emo Leaf alone, and because now he's going to be back to insufferable Leaf.
Right.
And I am not here for it. So that's too bad.
Unless he learned his lesson from his...
No, because he didn't, because he's saying, oh, now I know it's you.
Right.
So he's going to go back to being annoying to her, which I have enjoyed him not being for the last little while.
Right.
And Simon... I feel like we've been in this little round of, let me talk to you about my dead father again and again and again. And where are we going with this?
Yeah, well, that was
nowhere good.
The cliffhanger for next week.
It's like, he's engaged. So no matter what happens here, it's going to be messy.
Yes.
And, really? He needs to just either break up with his fiancée or go on his way.
Right.
But it looks like, just look by that little bit of a cliff that whatever mess this ends up with is going to involve a production number. I saw dancing people.
And this week we had the guys dancing with pool cues.
That's
production
true.
number.
Yes, that's true.
You know, San Francisco is a big place. They ended up in the same bar.
That seems unlikely.
And also on this show, this has the same issue that I used to have with This Is Us.
Mm-hmm.
They are like bending the law of time and space. Because on that show, they would somehow drive from New Jersey to Pittsburgh in like a half an hour, which, as you know, is like a 6-hour drive. And they would like do it like there was nothing. And then on this show, they're constantly like meeting up and hanging out before work. Like who does that? And you have to commute in San Francisco. Like this, this is not how people live. Like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, I find it hard to imagine that you can get from one place to another in San Francisco quite as blithely as they do.
Right. And they're always like, well, gotta go to work. I'm like, what? What time is it? When you've been having this whole conversation over breakfast at like 6 a.m.? Because that's when people go to work.
Sometimes you have to let art wash over you, Catherine.
I guess so.
It was, you know, I enjoyed it. Still not quite where I want the show to be. Well, partially because I want the show to be 30 minutes, but...
Right. And I want it to be happier and funnier and more singing, dancing, and less...
I do kind of miss the joy.
Crying.
Yeah, but it's getting complicated, you know?
Yes, this is true.
It's all piling up.
Mm-hmm.
So... we'll see one of these episodes. How many episodes are in this season? Do we know?
Good question.
Are we heading to a big finale number at some point? Or
I feel like as a network show.
But kind of a mid-season network show. I mean, the first season of Parks and Rec was 6 episodes, I think. So.
Right.
But it's probably more than that.
It looks like it goes to 12.
12. And we're on 5 now?
And we just watched 5.
Well then.
Yeah, this one was 5.
That's a lot of songs.
Our podcast is sponsored today by Best Fiends, the puzzle app that we've all been playing lately.
Well, I got up to level 127, which means I've been playing really quite a lot. Don't tell my family that I haven't really been doing work all those times that they needed to not interrupt me, okay?
Well, I've passed you up, Terry. I'm trying to beat level 178 right now, which means I've encountered these countdown bomb things.
Uh-oh.
But when they explode, you still get to keep on playing, so they don't stress you out too much.
I appreciate that.
I'm up to level 197 now.
Whoa. How high do you guys have your bugs amped up to now? My top ones are at 9. I like the way their appearance changes with every boost. That's kind of a cool feature.
Oh, I know. Just wait until JoJo evolves to level 10 and turns into a butterfly.
Oh, I can't wait.
Engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters. Trust me, with over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must-play.
Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play.
That's friends without the R. Best Fiends.
So this episode of Veronica Mars was called You Think You Know Somebody. And the somebody in question, I believe, was Troy.
Yeah.
Who we learned a lot more about, and so did Veronica. And by the end of the show, he was riding off into the sunset.
Yes, he's gone. I felt like... You know, when Troy was first introduced, and I recognized him as an Ashmore, in this case, Aaron Ashmore, I looked him up to see if I should be happy he was there and how long he was going to be there. And I saw sort of what the end game was going to be for Troy, and that he was therefore going to be like all the other cute, rich white boys and evil. But like 3/4 of this episode, I was thinking, well, maybe I misread it. Maybe he really doesn't have anything to do with it, and he's really good. And it's like in the last 5 minutes, all of a sudden, bam, no, he's completely, it was all him, and he's completely evil, and he stole this, and he did this, and he's still in Kentucky. It's just like
he's still talking to this girl, Sean.
They crammed all the evil Troy stuff into the very last little bit.
Did.
And it just seems, he had his father's car, was he back in the car? The same car?
I don't think so. I think
wasn't that car chopped up? So he like purposely had his Dad's car stolen, or did he hide the stuff before the car was stolen, and the car being stolen? Why did he involve Veronica in it?
And also, speaking of bending space-time, they go outside, they're like, oh no, the car's gone. And like, 1 minute later, Veronica pulls in. How?
Somehow she knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of questionable stuff, and it's just, I still don't feel like I have all the loose ends tied up on Troy's involvement, but who cares? He's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But, plus, who is this, the guy that the
Luke.
poor schlub,
Yeah.
Luke?
He's a new guy.
I'm like, okay, I got Troy and Logan, so biologically it should be Duncan in the backseat.
And he wasn't in this episode at all. Like,
who is this guy? Yeah, he wasn't in the episode at all. And there's this guy we've never seen before who's apparently a good enough friend of theirs that they go to Tijuana and smuggle steroids with him. But
and also don't forget that they all just met Troy as well.
Exactly. Well, but Troy and Duncan have a history, I think.
Yeah. But Troy just came back to that school. So he couldn't have
friended into the group.
Luke very long either.
That's right. So it seemed, so much about that plot seemed poorly fleshed out. But, okay.
Yeah. And in general with...
Needed to get rid of him.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Sure.
So, fine.
Yeah.
In general with this episode, there was not enough Wallace.
That's true, yes. As they also mentioned on the podcast, Veronica Mars Investigation, they were lamenting the absence of Wallace. And I also thought that moment where he walked up and just said, out of the blue, how come you're going to get sent to Albuquerque? And then he wanders off. It's like, SAG says I have to have a line.
Right here at this
or two.
part.
This many lines.
Yes, exactly.
So I thought it was going to send her to thinking something was off about him, but I don't think that's what did it. I think it's her dad delivering the packet full of information, as by golly he should.
Right.
Since she had done the same thing to him.
Exactly.
And his girlfriend's packet was much lighter.
Much thinner. Yeah. Not a lot going on.
A bad check and a bad marriage is about all she had, baggage-wise.
And
poor
yet
Keith.
he still did the upstanding dad thing.
He did. He is so adorable.
Yes.
That's such a great part for him, and I just love his performance of it.
Yeah. It's
So,
very nice.
Tip of the hat to Enrico Colantoni. Very nicely done.
But we also didn't get any Lily in this episode.
We did not. Dead Lily was taking a week off.
Yeah.
It's
like they can only handle when they go into the backstory.
Yeah.
It's either Leanne or it's Lily.
Right.
And I'm assuming they will converge eventually. But in these episodes, they really kind of keep them separate.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, there was a whole lot of flashback last week. There was possibly excessive amounts of flashbacks. So much that my husband was thinking maybe he didn't watch this anymore because he was like, this is a teen show. I don't want to watch a teen show. It's a show about teenagers. So.
Well, it is. That
That is true. He liked this one a little bit more. But, and I recognize the actress who plays the mom, Corinne Bohrer.
The one who plays Veronica's mom?
Yeah. I'll be interested to ask if she actually is in anything other than flashbacks and a phone call.
Mm-hmm. I feel like she will be, but
she was in the original E/R, which was a sitcom about a hospital, ER.
Not to be confused with the actual ER.
Well, George Clooney was in it, but as an orderly, and then I think it was Elliot Gould and Mary McDonnell were the leads, and Corinne Bohrer was a nurse.
Oh, I think I remember this.
And then sometime after that, there was another show called ER, which was a drama and did quite well. Much better than the sitcom
George
version.
Clooney
and
earned a medical degree.
And cut his hair. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see her if she ever actually comes along. But Veronica sending out burner phones by the dozen seemed an awfully odd way to go about this, but it worked. Yeah. Her mom called one of the phones and said, "You just wait, honey."
I don't know. How satisfying a response is that? Really?
And what are we supposed to think about those things that were in the envelope in the safe deposit box? that in real life Veronica would
like
never have been able to get in, but okay.
Of people targeting Veronica. And how does her mom, like, disappearing help that situation?
Well, the only thing that's true, because if she's in some trouble and somebody's threatening Veronica to get her to do something, would they not continue to threaten Veronica when she's not around? Or
how about telling your husband
cooperated or she did something?
An actual law enforcement professional, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. And boy, the whole when Veronica announces that she's dating Duncan and her mother, you know, you can almost hear the dun dun dun, her mother's look. That was not subtle.
Not
We shall see. If only these people would, like, sing their thoughts.
Yes,
it would be so much easier to know what was going on. Troy would have had a number about how he was tricking everybody, and, you know, Veronica's mom would have sang a plaintive ballad about why she really left, and Keith and his temporary girlfriend could have had a cute little duet.
Had a little moment together, yeah.
That's right, you know, maybe too late since this was in the past.
Yeah.
Zoey is in the present, but, you know, there's a road not to take.
Exactly. Well, next week we'll talk about both of these roads and see where they take us.
Yes, we will.
It'll be the 6th episode of both series. On Zoey, it's called Zoey's Extraordinary Night Out. And on Veronica Mars, it's called Return of the Cane.
I wonder at what point in the season the Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist people started to realize what a bad idea their titling strategy was.
Yeah.
Pretty much soon it's going to be Zoey's Extraordinary Hangnail. You know, they're going to run out of ideas.
They really
God bless them.
Themselves
seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yes. Well, that's going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.